Okay, so first step, you're going to need 5 sandwich bags. You're going to need to label them thighs, breast 2, breast 1, legs and drums, and carcass. There's 2 S's on the end there. Carcass is the body of your chicken, what's left, which we will turn into chicken stock for our risotto in a few weeks' time. So 5 sandwich bags. The carcass one is quite big, so if you've got a bigger sandwich bag, use that for the carcass, but 5 sandwich bags labelled like so. Okay, so welcome to another episode of Miss Law's Kitchen. Today we're obviously portioning our chicken, so grab it from the fridge. You need to, first of all, remove any of your packaging. So we are not going to wash the chicken, which I know a lot of your families already do. There's a very big reason for that. Number one, when we cook the chicken, any bacteria that is on the chicken will die anyway. And number two is that when you wash chicken, any of the juices from the chicken, so when you wash it, any of the water that lands on top of the chicken and then splatters around the edge of your sink is going to contain bacteria. And if you then portion your chicken, make what you're doing with the chicken, and then put your nice clean knife, chopping board, whatever you're using, onto the draining board, and there's those splashes of that bacteria water, you're going to pass on food poisoning. So it's actually safer to not wash your chicken than it is to actually wash it. And in the UK, that is food standard safety rules to not wash your chicken. So there is no need to wash your chicken. When we cook it over the coming weeks, you're going to kill any bacteria on it anyway. So equipment you'll need: 1 chopping board, 1 really sharp knife. It can be a big knife or a small knife, so chef's knife or vegetable knife is fine. I find a bigger knife is easier, but it's entirely up to you. Sometimes the chickens come with a little bit of neck inside. Mine hasn't, so my neck's already been chopped off. But check inside, because quite often they cut the neck off and then they stick it inside the bird for you. Okay, so when we're portioning a chicken, you want to make sure that you are this way up. So the wings are facing upwards and the legs are facing towards you. So the first step will be to remove the legs, which will cut into thighs and drummers. So you have this part of the chicken down the side where the legs are. It's just fat that connects it. So use your knife to just slice through that fat. My knife is not as sharp as the knives at school, but it will go through eventually. Okay. So you're not going to need any of that fat. The next part, I'm afraid, is probably the grossest part, which is where you need to grab your chicken and you need to bend the leg back. And what will happen is the bone will poke through. You're going to cut around that bone. So put your chicken down, grab your knife, using the point of your knife, work out where the bone is, just there, look. You're going to cut around that bone. Hopefully you've got a much sharper knife than me at home. My knife needs a really good sharpen. So you're not cutting through any bone, you're just cutting through the muscle and the skin of the chicken. And then there's the skin again. Okay, so next, you've got your entire leg of the chicken. This part here is just pure skin. I can chop off, depends how much skin your chicken has on it. Sometimes the shops already skin them for you. I don't need that, it's just a piece of skin. That can go in the bin. Okay, next you've got thigh and drumstick. Thigh we're going to use in a couple of weeks' time for our chicken stew. Drumstick we're going to use next for our barbecue sauce, our barbecue wings and drums. So we're going to split them in half. You need to use your thumbnail. There is a join between the thigh and the drumstick, and you can feel it, it's bobbly. So you're going to really need to feel with your fingers. If we were in school, the amount of you that say to me, "Miss, I can't feel it, Miss, I can't feel it," and I come up to you and I run my thumb over it and I'm like, there, and then I show you and you think, oh yeah, there it is. So all you're going to need to do is literally just get your thumb to feel over the chicken, and you'll feel a bobbly bit. It will be like one bobble, dip, another bobble. You want to cut in that dip. So find the bobbly, use your fingernail to line up where the dip is, put your knife in front, and you're just going to push through. My knife is not very sharp, you should just be able to go through with your knife straight away. And you will have your drumstick and your thigh. If it feels like you're cutting through bone, then you're not at the right stage. Okay, so we're going to cut through the other side of the chicken, exactly the same as what you just did. So if you don't need me to demonstrate again, you can fast forward this part using a nice blade of your knife. Again, you should have a much sharper knife than me. Just going to go through the skin that connects the chicken to the rest of the body, just taking out that skin. Your knife should go through this first time. The knives we have in school are way sharper than my knife at home. In fact, I'm just going to pull that bit apart. Okay, so exactly the same as we did the other side. Going to pull the chicken leg back, and you'll see the bone pop through. That's what you're going to cut around. So, and down the side, around. Remember, you're not cutting through any bone, it's just muscle. So if you're going through bone, just need to work out where you're cutting. And then again, this side, around the bone. Remember, I'm online for the whole lesson. If you need any further help or you're not sure where you're cutting, just come online and show me your chicken. I can help you out. Okay, so just cutting through that skin again. Your knife should be much sharper than mine. Okay, so, and again, finding the knobbly bit. Look for where they would naturally join. So you can almost see the round part of the drumstick here, and you can feel with your hands where the knobbly bit is, and sure enough, there it is right there. And then slice through like you did before. The second one you should find a lot easier than your first. And there you've got 2 drums, 2 thighs. Okay, you now have the backbone of your chicken. We're going to take off the breasts, which are naturally attached to the wings, so we'll cut them separately when they're finished. You want to find the backbone of your chicken. It's really easy. You just run your finger along the middle of the back of your chicken, and you'll find the bone straight down the middle. You want to cut just to the side of that bone with your knife. I'm actually going to take the skin off. No, I won't. Down the side. You should find this way easier than me because my knife is just terrible, as I've said about 50 times. So, straight down the side of the backbone. And you can see that we've actually reached the rib cage of the chicken. So we can't keep going straight, we need to curve our knife and follow. So you should have the back of your knife against the bone and the front of your knife into the breast meat, and you want to keep your knife as close to that rib of your chicken as possible, because that's how you remove most of the meat and it's not left on. So you're just going to keep cutting. Can you see? We're literally just curving around the rib cage, so your knife should be going in that direction, and it's almost off. You can see the rib cage of my chicken, so I've done a really good job there getting all the breast meat off. The tip of your knife is the sharpest point, so when it comes to actually cutting through skin, it's the best part to use. And you can see my breast is still attached to the wing, so I'm just going to literally slice it off like that. So you've got breast and wing. You can see where they've attached. There's the bone of my wing there, so I'm just going to literally slice that off just in front of the bone. So I've got one chicken leg, one wing, sorry, and one breast. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the other side. So you need to repeat the steps for this side. So again, if you don't need me to go through it again, feel free to fast forward. If you do, you're going to find your backbone, And you're going to use your knife to go down the other side of the backbone this time. And you're going to keep cutting through until you reach the rib cage. You feel it on the bottom of your knife. You can hear it too, you can see it just there, look. Then I'm going to use my knife to slice around the rib cage, removing the breast meat. Remember, this side of my knife against the rib cage, against the bone, and then the front of my knife into the chicken breasts. And keep going until you can use the tip of your knife to just separate it away from the body. The skin on my chicken is exceptionally tough. This was a tough chicken. Right, there you go. And then again, you can see exactly where the bone is. I can feel it with my hands, it's just there. So I'm just going to cut around, removing that from the chicken. We're not cutting through any bone, I've just felt with my fingers where the bone ends and just cutting it off. So, I've got my chicken carcass, my breast and my wing again. Again, finding the bone, I can see it right there. And then just cutting around the bone. So now, you should have, that's part of the breast, 2 breasts. Should have 2 wings, 2 thighs, and 2 drumsticks. You should also have the carcass. You need to keep this, so we're going to boil it up to make chicken stock for our risotto in a few weeks' time. It will flavour the water, chicken flavoured, so you need to keep this as well. So, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts of your chicken. You need to make sure that you take a photo of this now and upload it to Seesaw, and then you can put your wings and your drums together. They can go in the same bag because we're going to marinate them in barbecue sauce. You've got your thighs ready to go into your chicken stew. You've got 2 breasts, you're going to bag them separately, breast 1 and breast 2, and you've got a carcass. All of that into your matching bags, into the freezer, ready for our next practical next week. When washing up, make sure you are using hot, soapy water. Want to kill any of that bacteria on your chopping board and on your knife. In school, we would have red chopping boards to make sure that it's only raw meat that comes into contact with them. But at home, it's probably unlikely that you've got a red chopping board, so make sure that you are using really hot, soapy water to get rid of all of that chicken and any bacteria. And once you finish washing up, remember to anti-bac and wipe down the surface that you've just been using, because who knows what that chicken bacteria has come into contact. So make sure this is your family's kitchen, that you are really wiping down the sides so there is no chance of any chicken bacteria still on your work surfaces.